Icon or eyesore? That is the burning question behind one of the strangest Gibson guitars ever made, the Gibson Les Paul Centipede. This has to be one of the freakiest Les Paul customs I've ever laid my eyes on. With its kaleidoscope of bold primary colours, the Centipede is impossible to ignore. But is it a true icon, or is it just a total eyesore? Well, in today's video, we're going to find out as we explore the Gibson Centipede. So let's get straight into it. Hello guitarists, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury shred machines here in Nottingham, England. I hope you guys have had a great weekend and having a great start to your week. In today's episode, we're looking at one of the freakiest Les Paul customs I've ever seen. And this is our new series called Icon or Eyesore, where we take a look at the weird and wonderful in the guitar world. And we're starting off with an absolute bang, as we have a 2016 Gibson Les Paul Centipede. These were a limited edition custom shop run in 2016 and 2015. And basically, they're a Les Paul custom figured with a pretty crazy finish and a little centipede hiding on the headstock. So first off, let's grab the case and have a look what we get with the Gibson Les Paul Centipede. Okay guitarists, so now I've got the case which is obviously holding the beautiful Gibson Les Paul Centipede. So I'm just going to put it down here. As you can see, it's a brown lifting case, but the modern version with the 5 latches. This was produced in 2016, but the Gibson Les Paul Centipede was actually produced in 2015 and 2016. You can always tell it's a 2016 one because of this case. The 2015 ones came in like a black custom shop case. But opening it up, of course, it's a very striking looking guitar, and we'll get some nice B-roll footage of this guitar. Of course, the baseline model of this guitar, if you strip all the finish away, it's a Gibson Les Paul modern figured, meaning that it has a maple cap over the mahogany body. It's a very striking guitar indeed. We'll do the spec talk in a little bit. But now let's have a look at what we get in the case with this guitar. So opening it up, we do get a pick guard. I don't know why you'd want to put that on there as this finish is so beautiful. But let me know in the comment section below, are you a pick guard on or a pick guard off type of guy? Let me know down below. Obviously got the case keys, the tags, and then we have the certificate of authenticity, little brown one. We also have a little replacement kind of pickup selector tip. This is a cream one rather than the white one. But yeah, let's pull the camera a little bit closer and go over the specs of this Gibson Les Paul Centipede. So here we are, this is the Gibson Les Paul Centipede. It's such a striking guitar. But firstly, we better ask the question, why is it called the Centipede? So the main reason it's called the Centipede is because of two things. Firstly, the finish. We've got this blue finish on the back, the sides, and the top, obviously with this beautiful figured maple. We then have the yellow binding, and then we have the red kind of widow-like headstock where you can see the split diamond inlay and the Gibson logo. And then the other reason is because of this little dude behind the headstock, which is a little centipede icon. And you might be asking, why do they do this? Well, in the 2010s period, Gibson were experimenting with different kind of limited runs. So the most famous one is probably like the Black Widow Les Paul, which had like a little spider on the back. That was the birth of the Widow series of guitars, where they sprayed all the guitar in the same lacquer. So in that case, it was red, so they had red binding, red top, red back, everything. And they had a little spider on the back. They then released the Cobra Burst, which I actually owned one a couple of years ago, but I sold it a couple of years back. But that had a little Cobra on the back, really cool kind of silver guitar. Again, birthing one of Gibson's most famous finishes. Then they had the Widow series, which again, I've been fortunate enough to own a Green Widow as well, which I still have. And then they released this in about 2015, 2016. And of course, it has the Centipede icon on the back, so it's limited. It has a little bit of a cult following. And then obviously you've got this very outrageous kaleidoscope of bold primary colors. It's a very cool finish indeed. But at its bare bones, it is just a Les Paul custom with a little bit of a thicker neck, but there is a little bit of a cult following behind these. And it's very rare to find them in such good condition like this one. It's very rare to see them in this good of condition. Obviously, it's a very well looked after guitar. We've seen loads with lots of scratches on, with headstock breaks, with cracks, whether that's ones that we had in stock before or ones that we've seen online. I know on the Troglody's Guitar Show, they got one and the headstock had broken, unfortunately for them. But this guitar is in incredible nick, and it feels very different to my Gibson Green Widow or the Les Paul Customs of the early 2010s. This one feels like a modern Gibson custom shop instrument. The lacquer is very nice, very good construction. Obviously it's a figured Les Paul Custom. So we have a mahogany back, we have a maple top, we're gonna have a mahogany neck. This one feels just a little bit fatter than a classic Les Paul Custom profile. I don't know if that was intended to be a spec, but I can feel a little bit more girth in this neck. We then have a Richlight fingerboard, which some people don't like, but obviously it's a synthetic material trying to replicate ebony. Obviously they brought in Richlight as a replacement for ebony. In terms of look, it looks just like ebony. And to be honest, I mean, I think this guitar sounds incredible. I don't miss the ebony on this one personally. I think it looks awesome. We then have the big block mother of pearl inlays, which look insane on this one. 22 frets, obviously that yellow binding going around the neck. The serial number of this one is C for Centipede 079. I'm not too sure how many were made. Obviously, it is a rare guitar, so I imagine it was probably between 100 to 200 units, but you have to check online for that one because we don't have that number in front of me. The finish on the back is very nice because it's slightly translucent. You can see like the mahogany wood grain under there. It's a very dark finish, but it looks beautiful. Of course, on the back of the headstock, we have the little Centipede dude, and then we have the Grover Keystone tuners, which are kind of a staple on the Gibson Les Paul Customs now. It's really nice to see the gold hardware so clean. It's not been tarnished at all. We then have the tuxedo appointments of the split diamond inlay with the Gibson logo. As you can see there, we've got the red dye over the split diamond inlay and then the yellow binding. Les Paul Custom truss rod cover. What's great to see is that the gold hardware is still intact. There's no tarnishing to this at all, and it's very easy to tarnish this gold hardware, so that's awesome to see. Got a three-way switch, 490R, 498T humbuckers, 2 volumes, 2 tones. It's pretty much just a classic Les Paul Custom, but with a killer maple top, a killer finish, and a killer Centipede dude on the back. But that is all the specs of this insane custom shop rarity. Of course, in this new series called Icon or Eyesore, we're basically trying to decide whether these wonderful, rare, outcasts of guitars are actually cool, if they're an icon, or if they're just ugly. And we're gonna decide on this one today. Personally, I love how this guitar looks, but we'll see how it sounds. Of course, always let me know in the comment section below what you think of these guitars. We'd love to hear your honest thoughts down below. If you love a guitar, let us know. If you hate a guitar, let us know. If you like the video, if you hate the video, let us know down below. All feedback is completely welcome and we really appreciate it. So now that we've gone over the specs, let's get straight into the tone demonstration of this beautiful guitar. So guitarists, it's time for the tone demonstration. So it's time to shred on this beautiful Gibson Centipede. For today's episode, I'm using the 2-Rock Bloomfield Drive mic'd up with an Audio-Technica microphone, and then I have a few effects from my Kemper profile unit. In particular, I'm using a tube screamer and a compressor pedal for today's video. This guitar is so well balanced, it's a really nice modern Les Paul Custom, so I can't wait to show you how it sounds today. In the intro to today's video, I did my own jam. It was like a neoclassical Yngwie Malmsteen style jam, and I always love playing neoclassical shred on a Les Paul Custom. I think it sounds incredible. And these pickups are really nicely nuanced. On the neck pickup sound, with the high gain, you still have a lot of clarity. So that was what I used for like the introduction of that neoclassical jam. So it was... It's high gain, but it still has a lot of clarity, which is a big kind of bonus point for the pickup. It's my favorite type of distortion tone where it isn't too overly distorted, it's not fuzzy, it still has a lot of clarity, and as you run down the volume, you can still get a nice kind of bluesy sound. It's just got such a nice slinky, snappy feel, and obviously, looks aside, it's an incredible Les Paul Custom, and for me, my main criticism with modern Les Paul Customs is that they tend to have quite a bassy, flubby sound. They don't have a lot of life to them, but this is a slinky, very bright guitar, so I'm enjoying that so far. Of course, the bridge pickup is going to be totally rock. of tune there, but you can hear how much clarity this guitar has. The pickups sound really, really good in this model. But of course, you expect a Les Paul Custom to be able to do the rock and metal tones. You can hear that there. Let's clean up the amp a little bit and see how it performs as a clean guitar. So as you guys know, I'm not a massive fan of crystal clean, sterile tones, basically. I like a little bit of dirt, just that kind of edge of breakup tone when you are playing on the clean tone. So this is the neck pickup on the cleaner sound. So that's the neck pickup, and a few things just to mention is that I think it has a really nice dynamic range, this guitar. As you pluck in harder, obviously you get a little more gain. It acts really nicely to vibrato. It's got a nice bright tone, which is what I look for in any guitar, let alone a Les Paul. One criticism is that it does slip in out of tune quite a lot. And I don't think that's a fault of the guitar. I actually think it's the fault of whoever strung this guitar up. I'll get a little bit of a closer shot, but basically each one of the pegs has about 8 wraps around the tuning post, so we probably should have restrung this for today's demo. Obviously, when you're restringing a guitar, I always try to aim for 2 wraps, as it's enough to keep the string around the post, but it's not going to slip. But if you hear a bit of slipping of tuning today, I do apologize. I do believe that is because of the way it's been strung and not because of the guitar, as the A and D strings are staying in tune and they only have 2 string wraps, which is kind of how you're supposed to do it. So yeah, it's just the fault of the person who strung the guitar initially. Okay, now we're going to hear the middle position, which is of course the neck pickup and the bridge pickup together. So let's play some blues. middle position sounds incredible. Again, just demonstrating the dynamic range that I'm talking about. This is a Les Paul Custom. It's meant for rock and metal. It's supposed to be decked out instrument, but it has the clean nuances. It's got a nice carve to the neck. It's not too thin. It's a slightly thicker than my Green Widow. It's a really nice profile, and the frets got lots of life to them. Really enjoying it. Let's finally hear the bridge pickup on that slightly cleaner tone. Bridge pickup tone, it does show how kind of high output these 490R, 498T pickups are, because usually this would be my clean tone, but it's enough gain to be a crunch really. As you can hear, when I use my fingers, it's a little bit more clean. Such a nice tone, and for me that's quite a rare thing with modern Les Paul Customs. I love the 68 reissues, the 57 reissues, but I find the modern figured Les Paul Customs to sometimes lack a little bit in the tonal department, mainly because all that cost has gone into making them look cool. So they have a big thick lacquer finish, crazy colors and stuff like that. It kind of takes away from the guitar itself, but this is an incredible instrument and you can get some really nice nuanced tones. If you're a fan of lo-fi, neo-soul, jazz, anything like that, you can still play that on a Les Paul Custom. It's a very, very versatile instrument. I'm enjoying this one very much. So of course, to finish off the episode, we're gonna have to do some heavier tones. That's probably what you've clicked on the video for. So let's go to patch number 5, which is my heavy campus tone. Obviously still going for the 2-Rock Bloomfield Drive. It's just got a chorus pedal and a heavy distortion pedal, kind of reminiscent of the Zakk Wylde sound. So guys, that's the end of the tone demonstration of this beautiful Gibson Centipede from 2016. Let's go to the outro of this video, where I give my full review and rating of this beautiful beast. So guys, that is the end of the video. I really hope you've enjoyed checking out the Gibson Les Paul Centipede. Let me know in the comment section below, do you think this guitar is an icon or do you think it's an eyesore? Let me know in the comment section below. This is our new series. We take a look at the weird and wonderful of the guitar world. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Comment your thoughts about this Gibson Les Paul Centipede. And as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. In today's video, I'm going to give the Gibson Les Paul Centipede a 9 out of 10. This guitar was an absolute dynamic machine. Not only could you play rock and metal and the classic Les Paul custom tones, but you could get lovely clean tones, fingerstyle stuff. It was a very resonant instrument, and I wasn't expecting that with the kind of bold finish. I thought it was actually going to be quite a dead guitar. But it really shocked me with how expressive an instrument it was. The pickups also sounded great. I'm not normally a big fan of the 490R, 498T pickup set, but this guitar sounded insane. My one criticism though would be the tuning issues. As I previously mentioned, the guitar had been strung up quite poorly. Each string other than the A and the D string had about 8 wraps around, which meant that the strings kept binding in the nut or they kept slipping, which meant tuning issues. So ideally we'd restring this guitar and have about 2 to 3 wraps on there. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you like to string your guitars? But that is the end of this Squealing Pig Guitars video. I really hope you've enjoyed. As always, I'll see you tomorrow for another one. But until then, keep rocking guys. I'll see you soon.